Yeah, it is actually. It's very interesting.
But it feels like this one is really bad. Like
Is
it? And it's probably putting a lot of pressure on this piece.
Exactly, and that's where you have the lateral scoliosis. Also, like you have slippage of the bones
at
3 levels, and that compromises your back significantly. So, what I would like you to do is tell me a little bit about your story about how this, what happened to you when you were a young girl, like an adolescent. You were diagnosed when you were a child, right?
No, I wasn't diagnosed until college, when the college physical exam said, "Oh, you have scoliosis, but we'll just watch it." So the pediatrician never picked it up, and that I think was surprising. So, but at that time when I was young, I would have been, if they had picked it up, I would have been one of those people with an enormous brace, like the body, like almost a body cast for months and months and months. So I have to say I was somewhat relieved.
Right.
But I went through college. I played rugby in college. I played football in college with scoliosis. And it wasn't until probably my first child where I started to have more and more back pain. And then as each child went on, more and more back pain, until I would say 10 years ago was particularly problematic. But I didn't come here until 6 months ago. So, and that's because, not the pain, I was always having sort of low grade pain with exacerbations here and there, but because my posture, my rib cage was sort of pushing forward, and I had like a little extra level of skin, which wasn't fat. It was just that this rib cage was pushing the skin down, and it was sort of cosmetic reasons that brought me here, as well as the fact that when I went to the doctor, I lost another inch of height, and so I was like, wait a minute, there's something amiss.
But your pain levels were significant when you came
here,
though,
well,
right?
But chronically, so I just got used to it, and then there'd be times when it was particularly bad, and then it would get better, but I'd say at a level of 3 to 4 all the time.
And it would spike up occasionally. Right.
6 or 7.
And your job involves standing a lot?
Sitting.
Right.
I do a lot of, I'm a psychiatrist and researcher, so I sit in front of a computer a lot. And I found I couldn't, and actually I would have to commute an hour each way to work. The pandemic was great because I didn't have to do that anymore. But I found I couldn't be in the car longer than 2 hours, and I'd have to stop and walk around a little bit. So there were some limitations in what I could do. But walking is fine, exercising is fine, but sitting, and I can't stand either. So if I have to wait in line for like more than an hour, I can't do that either.
And what's your experience been with the treatment here? What's it been like for you?
So fabulous, actually. I love coming here. It's sort of very upbeat and positive, and everyone's very friendly. But I found that particularly the machines themselves really made a difference in the kind of the pain level. So it went from a 3 or 4 down to a 1 or 2 over time. I should mention my curve was 67, which Dr. Strauss, you can talk about how severe that is. But I'm a surgical candidate. I did go get a consultation from orthopedics during one of the flare. And they told me I was crazy for not considering surgery because my curve is 67. Anything over 50 is a surgical candidate. And they said, you're still healthy. You should. This is the time to do the surgery. And I started researching what the surgery looked like and reading the complication rate. And I'm like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And so I came here instead. And I have to say that I would do this. I would do this every day, then go under the knife with a tremendous complication rate and likelihood that I would need repetitive surgeries. I'm over 60, and so if there's going to be somebody with complications, it's not going to be a young person. It's going to be somebody like me. But the treatment's been great. I'm very good about doing the exercises. I definitely had one-sided weakness on various parts of my musculature, and the exercises have made a difference. I wear the brace. I was reluctant at first, but I have gotten used to it, and I find it very helpful. And it does actually add stability, so I do feel like I'm straighter and stronger as a result. I should mention that I'm very active. I just 3 months ago did a 7-day hike in Peru to Machu Picchu, in spite of having scoliosis and a 60-degree plus curve. And I don't think I could have done it without coming here first. It took care of the pain. I was able to hike 6-7 hours a day, go up to an altitude of 15,000 feet. And so I guess my message is, if you work hard at this, do your exercises, come religiously, you can have changes, you can have a life. And also, if you are a young person, don't wait. I waited till I was in my 60s to do this treatment. When the curve had gotten to a point where it's severe, come when you're early. If this had been around when I was 16, 17, 18 and been diagnosed, what a difference it would have made. I could have corrected it at 20 degrees, not 16.
Tell me about your experience of wearing the brace. Like, how many hours, how do you use the brace?
So I usually do my back exercises at nighttime. Unfortunately, I can't do them in the morning. The day's too crazy. So I do my exercises, take a shower, then I put the brace on, and I usually wear it for about 7 to 8 hours in the morning. I do walk in the morning. Sometimes I can wear it in the morning. Sometimes I have to take it off. It just depends upon the weather and how many dogs I'm walking and things like that. But initially, it took some time to get used to. You have to sort of go from breathing in your chest to breathing in your stomach, and that took a couple days. And I find that if I sleep on my stomach, that helps as well. But I can sleep through the night, no problem. It's not really interfering. It just, you have to put it on, and whoever you might be sleeping with is like, what is that? Right. But yeah, I can actually, I have certain jackets that I can put over it now, so people don't necessarily know I'm wearing it.
So you wear it when you go to work, you're saying?
No, I don't wear it when I go to work, but I'm always out in the morning walking, so, so people don't necessarily know.
Yeah, how would they?
Yeah.
And what about your posture? What kind of postural changes have you had as a result of the treatment?
So, again, as I mentioned, I came in, the cosmetic reasons was what brought me in. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, because my posture was starting to lean forward, and people were kind of commenting, like, Mariane, can't you stand up straight? Boy, you look really crooked today. Like, what's up? And now people are saying, wow, you look straighter. My husband said, wow, what a difference. I think he's the one that really pushed me to come, because he was sort of noticing the posture much more than I was. And I feel like my clothes fit a little differently. I just feel taller and straighter. So that's great. So the objective tests actually show it, but you can also see it in how I sit and how I present. And, you don't want to look like you're always schlumping, which is kind of, so now I make a big effort to kind of stand taller and sit taller. But also it is doing it on its own as well. You can still have a life. Right. You can still do things. You can still exercise, hike, bike, all kinds of things. Even with a spine, you just have to stay active and don't let the scoliosis stop you from being active and being a person.